On the line to explain how Eskom's pricing model works is Brian Sechotlho from Nersa. Good to have you with us on the line today, sir. Maybe that's the accurate starting point. If you can elaborate on Eskom's pricing model. How does it work?
Okay, the Eskom pricing model, if I may just explain, it starts from the Act, because the Act that gives us the mandate says that we must allow every efficient supplier all their cost to supply plus a return. So what we have developed as Nersa, we have developed a model called a rate of return methodology. And what happens there is that when Eskom comes to us with their application, they will present all their costs, being the operating costs, the maintenance costs, and they would also present to us their capital expenditures that are expected over the period. But also what we'll then do, we'll then determine on our side what is the appropriate return or margin that should be allowed to Eskom. So when you take the total cost plus that return on the capex, also on the regulatory asset base, that should then come to your total revenues that Eskom should then be allowed to earn over that period. If it's a year, that would be in the year. If it's a 3-year period, it would be. But currently, it's actually a 5-year period. So you'll do that for the 5-year period, and then that would give you the total revenue. From the total revenue, you then divide that by what you are expecting to be the total volumes that Eskom will be selling over that period. That would then give you the price. That price compared to the previous year's price would then give you the average price increase for that particular year in question.
It's interesting you mention that analogy because there's recently a Moody's research note that has been published where they say weak operational performance combined with insufficient tariffs and a large capex program continue to weigh on the company's financial profile. Given the fact that a ratings agency is making such commentary about the state-owned entity, does this increase the pressure on the potential raises or increases in tariffs?
It does to an extent put some pressure on the increases in tariffs, mainly because what has happened, remember when we did the multi-year price determination in 2013, we had assumed certain volumes to be sold by Eskom. We had also assumed that Eskom would be spending a certain amount of money in order for them to purchase their primary energy costs, or their coal and diesel. But what has actually happened is that the sales, on the one hand, did not materialize as had been predicted. But also on the other hand, there's been increases in the price of fuel in the form of coal and diesel. But so if you're going to do that, then you obviously have to make sure that Eskom recovers those costs. And to do that, obviously, puts the pressure on prices to increase. As to how much the pressure is, we cannot tell at this moment until we receive an application from Eskom and then we do a review of that application.
When will you receive an application?
We are expecting to receive Eskom's revised assumptions soon. We cannot at the moment tell what the date is going to be, but we are expecting, because the mechanism, the way it's built, it allows that where there are differences in the assumed cost and what is actually being incurred by Eskom, it allows Eskom to then approach the regulator to then say, these are the revised numbers. Are you going to then revise our price upwards? But on the other hand, if that price, the revised numbers were actually in favor of Eskom, then obviously in the same way would then allow the customers to then recover those costs by a price reaction. Unfortunately, for now, it looks like it's more on the other side than on the side of the customers.
Brian, just to close off with, for business owners who might be watching the show as well as South African consumers, is it highly likely, rather, that we'll see potential tariff increases from Eskom in the year to come?
I cannot say highly likely. I cannot determine the quantum of how much it's going to be like. But what I can tell you, seeing from what is happening, there's been a reduction in costs. A reduction in volumes that have been assumed. There have been price increases of fuel that Eskom uses, and also it looks like there's been some over recoveries on the BELT program. I can say that there is a likelihood of that happening. As to how much that is going to be, I cannot tell at this moment. We'll be waiting for Eskom to submit their application. And once they've done that, obviously, Nersa has got their processes whereby we'll do the analysis and do some consultation with them, stakeholders in the form of businesses and residential customers to ensure that we involve everyone in the process.
Brian, thank you so much for your time.